Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Radio Law Talk right here on your favorite radio station and on radiolawtalk.com. Normally we would, of course, play the open, but naturally right now, because it's a new year, Windows has decreed that we shall not. So in the meantime, for all of you new stations on the line, we normally have a very nicely produced open that we run and sounds really terrific. But at the moment...
I will sing.
Well, hold on. Wait a secking. Dun 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 dun.
There we go.
No, close enough.
That's not the music.
Good enough. That doesn't matter. Just play anything. I don't care. This is Fred Penney, your host of Radio Law Talk. That is our producer, Cal Hunter. That is all calm and collected for the hour before, and then it's always like 10 seconds before. Something's going wrong. There we go. There you go.
And now, radiolawtalk.com.
Yeah.
And here is your host, ladies and gentlemen, for Radio Law Talk. You know him, you love him, you cannot live without him. Let's hear it for Mr. Frederick Penney.
I thought you were going to talk about Denise.
Of course.
He was explaining Denise, wasn't he, Todd?
But sounded like it to me.
That's what I thought. I was like, well, I better just relax, sit back.
She's over there with just, the grin on her face like the cat that just ate the mouse. I'm like, what? Ooh, me?
Yeah. I'm Fred Penney, your host. Todd Cunan's my co-host with Denise Dirks, the threesome here. We are a crazy bunch. We're the Three Musketeers. And then we have behind the glass, we have Cal Hunter, our producer. 3-time Emmy Award nominee, but never a winner, and we love having him behind the board to scare us every week and saying, I don't know if it's going to run this week.
Always an adventure.
It is an adventure. Yeah. But you know what? This is, hey, welcome to this, the 28th of December, 2019. This is our last show before the end of the year, and we're going to ring in 2020. There's a lot of fun stuff we're going to talk about this time. I had someone discuss with me saying, why don't you talk about the impeachment hearings? I looked at them and just went, we don't do that. We're tired of hearing about all this. This is a politically neutral Radio Law Talk. We talk about political things, but we stay neutral. Denise and Todd and I will lay out all sides of it and argue, but there's some fun things we talk about.
And as far as the impeachment, if you could find something that hasn't been already spoken of somewhere else in the week previous,
10,000 times, by the way.
Yeah, well, even once, if you could find something, I'd be willing to entertain it. But let's face it, it's all been just hashed.
Beaten.
So
we're gonna have case or no case, which is those of you who don't know, that's the funnest thing that everybody enjoys. It's where our illustrious producer, Cal Hunter, is going to try to trick us in determining whether or not the scenario is a case when he tells it to us, and if it is a case, what the outcome is. We're going to talk about a compulsive gambler suing Caesars. This is interesting, and the theories are interesting, and I've got a few comments on that. We're also going to talk about whether or not you can prosecute Santa and the Grinch, and what type of crimes they have. Basically, what occurred this past week with Santa and the Grinch. We're going to talk about Christmas lawsuits. We love to talk about the Christmas holiday and Christmas lawsuits. People being served the day before Christmas or Christmas Eve. There's some interesting ones like that.
Isn't that like someone in Denise's particular line of work giving their loved one divorce papers on Valentine's Day? Yeah. Because the most common... most popular engagement ring sales time, believe it or not, is the 2 weeks before Christmas.
Really?
Yes, it's when the most engagement rings are sold. I only knew this because I do marketing research all the time, but that's the big time. And I'm thinking, is it frequent for people to break up on Lover's Day, Denise? I don't know. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of people think it's good luck if they have their final hearing on Valentine's Day.
Oh boy.
I would be curious to know, not the day that divorces are granted, but I would be curious to know which day the date of separation is the most prevalent. That would be, you take all the court filings and you look at when is the date of separation. What is the most prevalent day
I think I know
of the year?
that. Denise, do you know
I
the
think
answer?
It's probably December 31st.
That's
a lot
exactly
of people pick that day.
Or the first after the New Year, because they don't want to mess up. The family's around. They don't want to bring it up.
Right.
But I've heard it's like January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, something right after the holidays.
Yeah.
Because, you're with family, everything. Is that how that's what happened to you?
That was what was with us. The decision was... we knew that's where it was going, but wanted to get through the holidays, and we'll deal with this after the holidays. So
yeah, and then the cats went with you, and
yes,
and that's what happened.
Well, they stayed with me, but Regardless, that just changes the dynamic. Moving on. Case or no case? Is that
Yeah,
what
let's
we're
do
doing?
case or no case. Let's get out of this. Go ahead, Cal. If you have something for
I'll
case.
see if I can bail Todd out.
See if
Here
you
we
can
go.
bail Todd out.
Now it's time to play Case or No Case.
All right.
All right, a man goes to a holiday pageant dressed up as a reindeer. But he had to walk in the snow because his 1982 Chevy would not start up, frozen battery again. This is up in the greater Midwest area. He's dressed for a reindeer, and as he walks across an open field from his house to the grade school, a bow hunter sees him, gets down, pulls out his bow and arrow, and thwack, lets one fly and gets the reindeer. Now the guy with the bow says, "What do you want from me? It's deer season." Right. And so
where did he hit him?
Well, I got him in the thigh, apparently.
Okay.
It was a non-life-threatening injury. And so I asked
He's a
you,
bad bow hunter for the first. That one's on 2 legs, not 4, so I'll hit it in the thigh.
Yes, but he looked like a deer to me. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Penny. We'll start with you today. What say you? Would that be a case or no case? And if so, what do you think the outcome might be?
The first question is, was it deer season? I'm going to assume yes.
Yes.
Was it bow season? I'm going to assume yes.
Yes.
Assume yes. And he was in a field near the school. I wonder if it was legal to hunt in that area due to the fact that it was close to a school.
Answer, we do not know.
We don't know. And the other, these are just my scenarios. The other thing, was he negligent? It was about duty breach. Was he negligent in not, looking to see what he was shooting at as the hunter? It was in the evening, you said, Cal, or was it in the day?
Yes, so, he was walking toward the school pageant, which was in the early evening, 6:30 at night.
Okay, you're not supposed to be hunting at 6:30 at night, so therefore he's already made a mistake. So that's not allowed. You have to hunt only during the day, and there's certain time periods, I believe, once dusk hits, you're not allowed
Well,
to
he was
hunt.
within legal have not yet been legal sunset.
All right.
That much we know.
So the answer is that is a scenario, but not a case.
Okay. Mr. Cunin, dealer's left to you. What say you, case or no case?
What year was this?
I don't know.
Okay. So this is what I will say. I believe deer season, the way deer season normally works is bow hunters get the first crack at it, and then the bow hunters and powder, then the rifles. I believe that's the way. And it all starts earlier in the year, not in December. So I'm going to say this was outside of deer season. Cal's making it up. No case.
Okay. Ms. Dirks, what say you?
Do you know what state this was in?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Minnesota.
what say you in this rather intriguing
Hey, we are
case
in
or no
Minnesota.
case? Yes, we are.
And anybody in Minnesota that wants to clue
They
into
would know,
this,
yes,
make sure you do so. And we're probably going to get to the answer after the break and after Denise goes. But get in with us. Use the hashtag case or no case on Twitter.
Well, here's the thing. You can call it 855 Law Radio and comment or Twitter. Go to Twitter, Radio Law Talk. But here's the thing, Denise, before they get to you. I think, why don't the family member of the guy that was shot just call in? How about the guy that was shot call in?
Or the shooter, either the shooter or the shootee. Would love to hear from either one of those. Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't Dick Cheney?
Pretty sure he used a shotgun.
No, that's a shotgun. Come on.
Different guy, but
maybe his son.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say it's a case, and the man who was injured wins.
Well, that is a...
I would say if it's a case, I would say the guy
last
who got
week we
hit.
got a straight up one.
I don't know. All right, Cal, look, take us out of this mess.
Okay, I would normally give you the answer, but I've decided I'm not going to because I want to wait until after the break and tell you the fascinating conclusion to this wonderful case or no case.
And he was dressed as a reindeer.
Well, he was in the pageant, so he had he had to go do that.
Does deer season include reindeer?
And not just that, a two-legged reindeer, not the four-legged. That's the thing that's the idiot. That's what threw me.
We'll be right back. Hold on.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed.
Not all law firms have extensive experience in all areas of the law. It's wise to look for firms that have knowledge and understanding in your particular area of concern. So go to prolawfirms.com. They have listings of attorneys in key areas of practice, such as family law, estate planning, personal injury, bankruptcy, and so forth. When you're looking for a lawyer that has extensive experience in your particular area of need, go to prolawfirms.com. That's prolawfirms.com.
ProLawFirms.com is not a law firm and does not endorse or recommend any specific law firm. The cost of getting rid of garbage is high, and recycling products is lucrative. If you're a business or know of a business that needs an individual compactor or baler, call Northwest Compacting at 888-201-0911. If you already have an industrial compactor, baler, or shredder and need service, don't forget to call Northwest Compacting at 888-201-0911. Northwest Compacting, your full-service industrial compacting and baling company. Read more about them at northwestcompacting.com.
I've got to get my car washed. This dirt, it just won't do. But I don't have no time today. I don't know what I do.
Man, I know this place right down the road. Quick Quack Car Wash. Hop inside, let's take a ride and watch this cat and shine. Just come and see, I guarantee your ride will steal the show. Come on, Quick Quack Car Wash. Don't drive that dirty car. Quick Quack Car Wash. They'll have you looking sharp. Come on.
Many women have so many clothes in the closet, but then we go to get dressed and find we have nothing to wear. We've all been there. We all want to be comfortable and fashionable at the same time, and it's difficult to find clothing that makes that task effortless. But at Letty & Company, you can find trendy, comfortable clothing that is affordable. Things you'll want to wear every day. Shop with a purpose, online with free shipping. Just go to LettyandCompany.com. LettyandCompany.com.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the...
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Radio Law Talk. And now back to the show.
Radio Law Talk and Radio Law Talk. All advertising for legal services.
Yeah. Do you have my mic up there, Cal? I guess you do. Hey, you know what? We're talking about a case or no case. We're talking about a holiday party, probably a Christmas party, where a guy was dressed up as a reindeer in Minnesota. And what happens is his car breaks down. By the way, it's a 1982 Chevy. That's what he added that was important. And he had to walk through the field to get to the school. And lo and behold, the bow hunter shot him in the thigh.
Well, the battery froze up on the car. What could he do?
I believe that. And myself and my colleague, Todd Cuden, the formerly a prosecutor for the DA's office, now his own criminal law practice, said it was a scenario but not a case, or just basically it's not a case. Denise went all out and said, this is so simple, and she went with the simple thing, which is case, and the guy who shoots the individual does not get prosecuted.
The shootee wins the money.
Oh, you got to put her around.
Yeah, the shootee wins the money, correct? Denise, is that what you said?
Yeah. Denise has got to turn her mic on.
It's on.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, what I said was the plaintiff, the guy that got shot, wins.
That's what I meant. The shootee, not the shooter.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the shootee, yeah.
The guy with the thing in his thigh.
Yes.
Right.
Cal, tell us what happened.
For those of you who say this is a case, may I see by the show of hands? That would be Denise Dirks. And Denise, all I can say is...
Oh, my gosh. It was so simple it couldn't be true. Oh, man, it's a case.
Yeah, an actual story, and the fellow who got shot prevailed, and the fellow who did the shooting not only had criminal charges filed against him for, what do they call it, reckless discharge or whatever, and also lost a civil case.
He had to be drunk, Cal. There's no way that guy's going to be shooting a guy standing there with a reindeer.
Let me put it to you this way. A bow hunter in Minnesota drinking? Oh, come on, Fred.
Yeah. that there is an RV.
How likely is that?
Oh,
and
man.
that, friends, is... Case or no case.
Good job. So it does happen. That sounded, like something could happen. It was just too easy. But so I guess the moral of the story is, Cal, number one, don't drive an 82 Chevy. Number two, don't dress in a reindeer costume and walk across the frozen tundra to the school.
Right, and my question is, did he have on a red nose? This would have been a dead giveaway to a hunter. Maybe it's I don't know.
And number three, take the antlers off when you're walking across the field.
All good advice to folks. Next hour, I take you to Pocatello, Idaho, and the Ice Queen Contest.
Ice Queen
Contest.
Nice.
That's next hour on Case or No Case.
Well, we're talking about getting shot in the thigh or the derriere area. Let's talk about Caesars being sued by a compulsive gambler. That kind of fits right in, doesn't it?
Yeah, you'd think.
So in Canada, this one's not United States, in Canada, Ontario, Canada, there's an individual that apparently has been kicked out of a number of casinos in the area because of apparently a temper or has some issues. And this one casino, the Caesars, he was not kicked out of. And he loses $260,000 over 2 days, 2 different times that he shows up. And he blames the casino for having should have known or known that he was a compulsive gambler and not allowed him to gamble. And he goes on to say that a couple of the arguments are, number one, I had been kicked out of multiple places. They should have known that I was this type of a person and shouldn't have been able to come into their casino. And now he's arguing you should have kicked me out, where people always argue you can't kick me out. He's the opposite.
Do bars kick known alcoholics out?
That was my thought, Cal.
No, they don't, but they may refuse to serve him after a certain point.
They limit him after they reach a certain point.
Right, which is also part of his argument, was that once he started to lose big, they saw that he had been drinking, they should have limited his play.
Instead of saying we got a whale on board, let's milk it.
Well, not only that, the issue also milk. The also issue is they, according to him, they continued to feed him or give him alcohol.
Yes.
And gave him free food, picked him up with a taxi, took him back and forth to home, and treated him that way. By the way, I just want to finish my point. I believe it's Caesars that does have their own private jet that picks people up, certain high rollers. Isn't that true?
Exactly. I mean, you got to understand that casinos, for those of you that have never been to a casino, and for those of you like me that have been to a casino but have never been treated like the high roller, if you are somebody that comes in with a ton of money, they treat you like royalty because they know if they can get your behind seated at a table, the money that is in your account is going to end up in their account sooner or later.
Todd, there's a reason those casinos are beautiful.
Yes.
They're winning.
Exactly. This isn't fair. You're in a system where it's set up for the house to win, and when somebody comes in with a lot of money, they want that money to be theirs, and they will treat you. Look, it's nothing for them to buy you a $50 steak if by buying you that steak and the drink that goes with it and the nice meal, they end up with $250,000 at the end. That's a pretty darn good investment.
Well, here's the thing. He's not just suing the casino. He's also suing the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Department, saying that they regulate this and they should make sure that they don't come in and lose. Why don't they just make sure that nobody loses money?
Yeah,
that's their job, right?
No kidding. And then the casinos would all go out of business, and then everybody would hate this guy because he was the one that led to the casinos all going away.
Well, the good thing about this is his lawsuit ended up in a complete and total ban for him of all the casinos now. Because he's done this lawsuit, they have all banned him. He's not allowed in any casino.
He's getting what he wants.
No,
right?
because he's got no money left. Come on.
Isn't what he originally says is they should not have allowed me in because I have a gambling problem? Well, now he's got what he wants. They all know about him. He's not there. To answer the question about why this is a little different than a bar serving an alcoholic, the chief difference, as I see it, is in the alcohol bar situation, the protection is for the public in general. You get behind the wheel of the car, it's not just you that becomes a victim, it's other people as well. And you also could lose your life. I don't know that losing money is inherently a life-losing situation. Certainly doesn't pose a danger to the public if you leave broke. And so that's where I see the difference. But
I guess we could sue the car dealers when I go in there. They get me in. They give me food. They take care of me. They're nice to me. They should know I'm a compulsive car buyer.
What about these people that go to spas and day treatments?
Or Costco.
And all that? Yeah. Ugh.
All right.
I'm addicted to Costco. Hi.
Don't turn the dial. We're going to be back. We're going to talk a little more. We're going to talk about Christmas wars. A little bit
All
going on there.
advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to radiolawtalk.com.
Warning, don't let your business get left behind in what is likely to be the biggest economic boom in recent history. If you need to build for your business to grow, call General Steel today for a pre-engineered steel building designed for your needs. No wasted space. Steel prices are expected to rise, but you can still lock in your price on a General Steel building. And you can still save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. As much as half. But you must call now. If you need a church building, office, warehouse, manufacturing space, retail space, or more, call General Steel today. You can still get the General's 50-year structural warranty and General Steel quality, all at a price you can afford. So don't let rising steel prices put your project out of reach and stop you from making your company great.
800-617-9312. 800-617-9312. 800-617-9312. That's 800-617-9312.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
Hi, my name is Liz. Is this real life?
Radio Law Talk. Now back to the show.
Yeah, it is real life, and we're going to talk about real life now, about the Grinch that stole Christmas and Santa and some of the things that, some of the laws that were broken during this past holiday, this past week. We can start out with Santa. Now, those of you guys who are thinking about Santa, it's 855 Law Radio. If you can think of any type of criminal activity or tortious act that Santa did during the Christmas holiday, I can think of a few the Grinch has done. In fact, an attorney out of Las Vegas did a fun spiff on it. during a Channel 3 news in Las Vegas. But, he's saying nothing that everybody else doesn't already know that we've already talked about. We talked about this before. This is not the first time. In fact, you can go back to www.radiolawtalk.com to
the podcast. Yes.
And you can search Christmas, and you'll see us talking about this before. But the first thing is trespass. Don't you think? Santa's clearly trespassing. I mean, think of all the homes he just shows up on. But I guess the defense is, David, it's implicit that he's invited in, correct?
Yeah, implied consent. Folks are there. They want to do that. Now, then the only problem here is that sometimes if the consent is from the kids by way of a letter to Santa, the homeowner can make the argument that the minor did not have consent to allow the adult to come to the house. And if there was any damage to the roof or to the chimney upon gaining entry, that could be beyond the purview of the
I think it starts even earlier than that. I think it starts with the stalking behavior when Santa's trying to find out who's naughty and nice. That could be harassing and stalking and keeping somebody under surveillance, which could be a crime.
Privacy issues.
Privacy issues, keeping them under surveillance, and to the extent, look, there are some people that want to have the government regulate anything. Well, if Santa was a governmentally regulated agency, you'd have the denial of due process by making it onto the naughty list versus the nice list. No way to challenge that. Okay,
That's
so you
true.
have that. Obviously, the surveillance issues all violate the Fourth Amendment. I doubt Santa went and got a warrant. Certainly didn't go to the FISA court to get a warrant.
Right.
And so there's a bunch of issues there.
I think one of the biggest issues is overtime work for the elves, and also the reindeer. But I think it's going to come down to whether or not he's violating a number of employment issues.
Or whether or not the elves or the reindeer can be considered independent contractors, under state and federal law. Perhaps.
What about Rudolph, his disability, making him work and exploiting his disability?
There's that, and the sanctioning, Santa's apparent approval of workplace harassment against Rudolph for the entire year, and then and only then does he cut him a break because the weather was bad at night. And so, if Santa has been sanctioning this workplace harassment, he could face a lot of time there. And I wonder, we talked about overtime, to what extent has Santa impeded the elves' ability to collectively bargain? I mean, they may want to
probably
join
not a union.
Yeah,
probably not union. I think they're not. But I think you brought up another NAFTA issue.
Exactly.
What's the NAFTA issue?
Well, the importation of goods from the North Pole down to the United States. Look, that gets you through the United States because they renegotiated the NAFTA deal. But Santa's a worldwide entity. I'm sure that some countries may want to put a tariff on the importation of goods into their country. The Chinese might have a problem with that, and anywhere else, Santa doesn't just go to North America.
And just think about how many states are upset at Santa because he's not paying the state law tax for different things that are being imported and even exported from the different states.
What country is the North Pole in? Is it in Alaska? Is it
I
in
think
Greenland?
It's its own country. It's its own country.
Oh.
I think that's Santa's own country, even though I don't care where it is.
So like the Vatican kind of.
It's like the Vatican or
right,
Washington,
his own
D.C.
sovereign. He's his own sovereign.
He's his own sovereign, like the Indian nations are within the United States.
Okay.
I think there's also an issue of gift tax and estate planning. What about all the, Santa's giving away a lot of free stuff that there's only so much he can give away per year according to the gift tax rules.
Per person, though.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
What happens if someone gets a new Ferrari for Christmas?
Then
that's a little higher.
Then congratulations to them.
Yeah.
That's what.
Cal, by the way, on your country issue, according to LiveScience.com, the North Pole actually doesn't belong to any country. It sits in international waters. Because remember, the South Pole actually sits on a landmass. The North Pole is just ice over water. So, you're there, and it
doesn't matter. It's Santa's realm.
It's international waters. That's where he is.
So it's like a giant saltwater cocktail, so to speak.
Exactly.
Is it a free trade zone?
I don't know.
I think the abominable snowman is one that protects it. That's all I know.
I saw that once.
That's scary.
Now, is this
he's got a tooth problem.
Is this I was going to say, is this the version of the abominable snowman that has teeth or not?
This is the one that had his teeth taken out.
Yes, that's why I was asking.
Yes. So I think there's a lot of issues here with Santa. Now let's talk about the Grinch. The Grinch has some real serious issues here, especially the prosecutor, Todd Cunin, former prosecutor, and the criminal lawyer. There's a lot of things. The first thing starts out, and this has been brought up by many people, is conspiracy to commit a crime.
Well, that is true, and the conspiracy to commit a crime, and arguably, I mean, you might make the argument that it's a hate crime because I don't know what race the Who's are who live in Whoville.
True.
But it seems to be his animosity toward the entire people, the
well,
entire.
Well, it could be religious too.
And so because of that, I mean, the Grinch has a major crime here, and it appears to be a hate crime because it's against an entire nation.
That's true, the nation of Whoville.
That's right.
What about animal cruelty to Max? The dog that has to drag the big sleigh with all the stuff. And he makes him and he ties the
horn on his head.
Yeah. I think there's animal cruelty there.
Look, at a minimum, if you're talking about sentencing, the Grinch is going to absolutely need some form of anger management program he's going to have to participate in. Whether he does that in custody or out of custody or in an inpatient treatment facility, he definitely has to address his anger issues.
And he may even have to register on the child abuse index, depending, on which state is going to go after him.
Isn't it Wendy, the one that he was?
No, Cindy Lou.
Cindy Lou. That's right.
Cindy Lou who? Well, he wrapped her up into, like a package, and then he left her. So, I mean, that's false imprisonment. That's child abuse.
Yes.
That's
now it was
neglect, endangerment.
It was my understanding, and again, you have different versions about the prosecution, the defense they put on about the Grinch story. I'm going on the one that was not direct video, but an animated recreation of the event. And in that one, it was my understanding that he just placed her back into bed. He didn't wrap her up or anything and put her to sleep. Lied to her, said he was Santa, but he put her back. Now, if I'm his attorney, I argue that that's mitigating. Because if I was that bad, I could have done a lot worse. But when the child saw me, I had compassion and I put her back to bed. I continued with the criminal enterprise, but I put her back to bed. So I'm not as evil as everyone puts me out to be.
And Todd would argue in court that he's even written a new theme song. You're a kind one now, Mr. Grinch.
Absolutely.
Right? Your Honor, here's the new song.
I'm sure someone will sue and say that they had that first.
Well, yeah, it'd be copyright infringement, and I'm certain that whatever happened, both sales of both versions of the song would go up.
So don't forget, the mayor of Whoville, he shaves his head, right? Doesn't he go and shave the head of now that's in the Jim Carrey version. There's different versions. There's the cartoon version and Jim Carrey version, but he shaves the head. That's an assault and battery.
Yes.
And I think there's issues. Doesn't he go into the post office also? And he goes in there and then he's obstructing mail and trespassing on federal property?
Any sort of crime on federal property is going to be a federal crime. And so then there's going to be an issue about jurisdiction. And the thing here is Jim Carrey is going to be subject to...
Jim Carrey?
Or not Jim Carrey, but the Grinch is going to be subject to prosecution by both the state and the federal government for arguably the same thing unless Whoville is somehow in the state of New York.
I think our government needs to get involved in this and hold hearings. The Democrats and the Republicans.
Well, that's good.
And because they're good at holding hearings to find something.
Let's see if they can acquit.
And you know what? Can we get Avenatti to be someone's lawyer?
I'm sure. Well,
only for $25 million in advance. He needs the money.
Well, Avenatti, and then we can get who on the other side? Who would be the other lawyer?
And that's a deal.
Oh yeah, he'd do
who would be prosecuting? So Avenatti would be the defense.
But who's the prosecutor?
Okay, the prosecutor. Well,
Mueller. Should we just get Mueller again?
We could get Mueller to prosecute.
He doesn't have anything going on right now.
I think he could do that. Failure to register as a foreign gift giver.
That's true, too.
I think that they could go
after
I
think we got domestic terrorism here from the Grinch.
I hadn't thought of that, but you are right.
There could be some of those issues. But I want to just get the dream team to handle this case. And I think it should cost us billions of dollars to deal with this, to find out really and prosecute the Grinch and Santa.
I think Santa has a cause of action against the Grinch, because didn't the Grinch steal Santa's identity?
Well, they could, although the Grinch is going to say that Santa was violating the Sherman Antitrust Act. So you got to give people a choice.
All right, stay with us. We're going to be back. We're going to talk more about Christmas lawsuits.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Radio Law Talk on RadioLawTalk.com and on your favorite radio station, and we're really glad that you are. Thank you.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to radiolawtalk.com.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they were able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-263-2610. 800-263-2610. That's 800-263-2610.
If you're one of those independent people who wants your own business and you love food service, we just might have a great opportunity for you. Iceberg Drive-Ins. Iceberg is famous for its thick shakes and delicious food. We lend you our supply chain and expertise, and you can potentially have a thriving, successful, fun business that your customers will love. Iceberg Drive-Ins has some prime areas available right now, so if you're interested, get in touch with us right away. Go to icebergdrivein.com and click on the Contact Us button. Iceberg Drive-In, ready to grow with you.
This is Denise Dirks. We can represent clients in divorce, legal separation, child and spousal support, custody, termination of parental rights, step-parent adoptions, guardianships, and even conservatorship matters. Call 1-877-886-7186 for a consultation.
The law offices of Denise L. Dirks provide family law services in Northern California. When the law affects your family, call 877-886-7186. The family of attorneys at Denise L. Dirks is here to help.
I've got to get my car washed. This dirt, it just won't do. But I don't have no time today. I don't know what I do.
Man, I know this place right down the road. Quick, quack, car wash. Hop inside, let's take a ride and watch this cat and shine. Just come and see, I guarantee your ride will steal the show. Come on, quick, quack, car wash. Don't drive that dirty car. Quick, quack, car wash. They'll have you looking sharp. Come on.
Jason Ross back here with Fred Penney, managing attorney from Penney & Associates Injury Lawyers. Now, Fred, what type of cases are you dealing with now, and what sets you apart?
Jason, we help people with all types of personal injury cases. We're former insurance company trial lawyers. We understand the other side, which gives us a distinct advantage over our competition. Remember, we don't get paid unless we win.
That's Penney & Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennylawyers.com or give them a call, 1-800-616-4LAW. That's PENNEY lawyers.com.
Even in the hustle and noise of this modern world, we feel the pull of the forest, to walk under the canopy and feel transformed. National forests are essential to life. Majestic and grand, they clean our air, supply drinking water to millions, and provide homes to countless wildlife. They fuel our imaginations, inspiring us to think big, and now's the time to do just that. Fires and natural disasters devastate our forests each year. That's why we're replanting millions of new trees across the country. The Arbor Day Foundation needs your help. We've heard the call of the wild and we've answered. Scientists, foresters, volunteers, and members, together we can preserve and protect our heritage and legacy. We must act now so that the generations of today and tomorrow can continue to depend on our forests. Visit arborday.org. See how you can help.
If you pay my fee, I'll take your case.
Time to get back to Radio Law Talk on radiolawtalk.com and on your favorite radio station.
Yeah, during Christmas time, there's always the same or similar lawsuits. It doesn't happen right at Christmas time. Sometimes it's before. It's about holiday displays, correct? It's because one of the most important things our country was founded on was the freedom of religion. In fact, back before the country was founded, that was the issue back in England, is the Church of England. You had to be a member of the Church of England, basically, and they wanted to be able to have their own religion, whatever they felt or deemed necessary according to their beliefs. And that's what the First Amendment's all about, and that is the separation clause, right? That's the issue is the Establishment Clause that says you don't want to violate church and state. You got to separate church and state. So how does that work when it comes to nativity scenes? Because that has always been a thing that has gone back and forth and back and forth. So 855-LAW-RADIO if you want to call us, or the actual number is
855-529-7234.
Or you can tweet us at Radio Law Talk. Or if you have questions or want to email us, always email us at info@radiolawtalk.com, and we can try to answer your questions. Remember, we do not give legal advice. Seek local counsel. This is not a place to learn all the laws that you've always wanted to learn. But here's a couple of things that I will note. There's two main cases, the Supreme Court rulings about nativity scenes. There's the Lynch v. Donnelly case, 1984, as that one came down. And then following that is the Allegheny v. ACLU case in 1989. And I'm not going to go in detail on these just so we can set a foundation. The Lynch case basically okayed nativities. The Supreme Court held it's okay to have a nativity so long it's more or with a secular display. So it's still kind of vague in the way the Supreme Court put it. So you can't just have pure nativity and then say, glory to God and Jesus. You can't do that in a public place. You can do it on your own on your own house or own private
And that
place.
means government property
Properties and
yeah.
stuff. But it has to be, you can do it only if it's tied in with some secular thing. So you could put a Santa Claus and reindeers with it, or a Hanukkah sign or something with it. But it can't just be the nativity. And again, I'm being very broad in general. Those of you who are saying, well, getting in details. I'm just trying to be broad in general here. That's generally what you have to do. In fact, recently, as of 2019, this comes forth all the time because a judge in Indiana had to rule on details of the distances between the figurines representing Santa and the baby Jesus. So it gets to the point, okay, how far away was the Jesus from the Santa?
This is like the divorce court where there's portioning out the Beanie Babies.
It's like equity at its finest, right? It has to be equal.
But, I raised this question, okay? We go back. This is what the First Amendment says. Quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So my question is, honestly, is putting up a nativity scene on public property the establishment of a law? I don't see that as being the establishment of the law or making a law. Furthermore, I don't see that putting a nativity scene on a public place prohibits anyone else from exercising the religion of their choice. I just don't see the implication there.
But why can't they put, if they put the nativity scene, why can't they put their religious, let's say, scene, whatever that is, at the same spot in the same place?
Maybe they should be allowed to. Let them apply for a permit.
Well, I think it has to do with Congress, funding different things. And so if it's funding the property and it has this kind of a display on there, is it funded by Congress? And that could be how they're looking at the establishment of a law.
Well, you follow up with the 1989 cases, the Allegheny versus ACLU. That was where in an Allegheny courthouse they had a nativity display in 1989. And that was where the lawsuit came about. And basically the Supreme Court held, no, you can't do that. Because mainly it said Gloria in Excelsis Deo, which is glory in God, right?
Glory to God on high.
Yeah, glory to God on high. Because it said that and it displayed, the nativity, they said that cannot be. And they had to take that down because it stood alone was the problem. Now, if they had Santas in there and a bunch of other stuff intermingled. So I think Jesus with Santa overlooking him in the manger and the reindeer Rudolph sitting there and Mary petting it would probably pass.
I guess my other question is, I understand this. I understand what the Constitution says. is the holiday, because every governmental institution that I know of is open or is closed on the 25th of December. And of all of the holidays throughout the year, that's the only one that I can think of that's a religious holiday or a holiday that's religiously based. It's Christmas. There's a reason why. It's to celebrate the birth. And so we have a federal holiday recognizing or a federal entity recognizing a religious holiday.
True.
Nobody seems to have raised an issue about that because they all like the day off.
They want the day off. They're not stupid.
That's a good point. I've never thought of that, Todd. That you're right. The government does.
It's like the Miracle on 34th Street argument. If the post office recognizes Santa Claus, well, he must be real. If the government recognizes this holiday, it must be real. Huh?
But Santa Claus is secular and the Nativity is religious.
It is.
That's why they say they can recognize Santa Claus.
I don't know, St. Nicholas.
but it's not called Santamus. It's called Christmas.
right.
Well, guess what? Guess what's going on in Hong Kong? Hong Kong, the shopping malls there have decided to they are not doing any Christmas decorations this year. And why? They're fearing the pro-democracy protesters are going to tear them up. And so that's happening in Hong Kong.
And they've actually blocked the streets in front of these places to protect them.
Yeah.
And now people can't shop.
Yeah. Well, that's in Parker County. No, not in Parker County, but in St. Charles, Missouri, is where the city erected barriers to. Yeah. That's what you're talking. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, I thought both of them had, but
they might have. But in St. Charles, Missouri, they blocked the businesses due to the fact they had to take away a bunch of parking because there's worried about people walking out on the street and getting hit. So there's a lawsuit that occurred during Christmas time.
Well, sure.
And sure enough, they the city the businesses won and they had to take down the barriers.
Never mind that the mall paid the city to put up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
no, the businesses could actually show the decline in sales after the barriers were put up.
Of course you could. Yeah. Wow.
And people would have to, park way away and then walk in.
Which is interesting about the psychology of downtowns versus malls. Mall operators used to say, it doesn't matter if you have a downtown business and you park your car within a block of the store you're going to. In the mall psychology, if people park in the parking lot and they can see the store they're going to, no matter if it's 4 times farther away than it would be on a city block, they are willing to do that and walk there and think it's a closer deal than if they have to walk down a block to a store they can't see. Isn't that interesting?
Just amazing. But, a lot of times people complain about the holiday crush and the crowds everywhere. Well, here's a story. Here's a story about somebody that actually benefited by the crowd at the post office. Now, this happened in Missouri. And this woman, Julie Mae Kirk, she had a criminal conviction on her record for child endangerment and a drug possession case. And she's off probation. Everything's done. She's trying to get her record cleaned up. She had filed with the post office to send in all the paperwork, but the lower court denied her request because they said it was filed too late. Well, the appellate court in Missouri revived it and used a very interesting argument in granting her requested relief by saying December is usually the busiest time of the holidays, and so we are going to chalk up the fact that she missed the deadline to the fact that the post office was inundated with mail and didn't get to processing her particular parcel in time, and she got the relief. She benefited from the holiday crush.
Very cool.
Well, isn't that kind of like a version of once you stick something in the post bin or leave it with the post office, it's deemed to have been served, if you will, or delivered?
It is. If you can prove when you put it in the post box, regardless of the date stamp, it is deemed served.
Yeah, because sometimes they don't get to them every single time. All right, join us second hour. I'm Fred Penney, your host, with Todd and Denise and Cal Hunter. We'll be back.
Stay right here. There's much more Radio Law Talk coming right up on RadioLawTalk.com, of course, and on your favorite radio station. So you stay there. We promise we'll be right back.
You have been listening to RadioLawTalk.com, a copyrighted presentation of Radio Law Talk Incorporated.
Jordan, and he's a healthy guy. He's a dad of 6, and he works as a guide in Alaska. But then he goes to the doctor, and he's diagnosed with cancer, stage 4. And here's the thing. He had switched from medical insurance to MediShare, which is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry. So the question for Jordan and his wife Jenny was, is this really going to work?
Our medical bills exceeded $160,000. MediShare members shared all our bills.
And it was about more than just the money, too. This is a real community.
MediShare is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life. I just don't know how I could have done it without MediShare.
It's so worth looking into. There's a reason this is growing so fast. If you want to find out more, here's a number for you. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.